very complex.
Well, it is, isn't it? You made me aware of that.
Now, when did I do that?
Well, remember that night when Paul Hanley drove me home, and you'd been at the house, and you asked him to drive you back into town? Why did you do that? I know you don't like him.
Well, you are a very inquisitive young lady. Why is it so important for you to know?
I suppose because I like you both so much, I'd like to understand what you have against him. You were angry at him that night, weren't you? Was it because he drove me home?
You're also very intuitive. But you're right. I don't like him. No, I can forgive him what he did to me in the trial. It's what he's become. He's vicious and destructive.
Why would he want to hurt me?
I knew men like him in prison. They have to tear down anything they don't understand. They want to destroy everything that's clean and decent. You'd be a prime target for a man like Paul Hanley. Stay away from him, Allison.
Do you really think he's capable of hurting me?
He'd try.
He can't hurt me just because his values are different.
You want to change his sense of values, is that it? What if he changes yours?
Then they deserve to be destroyed if I'm not strong enough to hold on to them.
Oh, Allison. Don't talk like that. You're still a child. You don't understand what you're saying.
Now you're beginning to sound like my mother. She won't let me go to New York just because Mr. Hanley's going to be in charge.
She's right, and you know it.
She's wrong, and I'm going to change her mind. Aren't you going to wish me luck on my trip to New York?
Absolutely not.
You got a minute?
Oh, sure. Come in.
Elliot.
Sit down.
Do you remember when I visited you in prison just before you got your parole? You said, and I remember it very clearly, you said, if I get back to Peyton Place, I won't harm anyone. I believed you.
Well, I meant it. I'm not harming anyone.
You encourage Allison's curiosity. You go out of your way to walk with her, to talk with her. You bought her that sweater.
She is my daughter.
Then act like a father. Protect her from other people's questions and her own.
I'm sorry, Matt. I'm just not content to live a lie.
You want Allison to know?
I think she should be told, yes.
That's not up to you or me to decide. There's only one person who has the right to tell Allison.
I think Constance might change her mind if you persuade her.
I've tried. She will tell her when she's ready in her own way.
I don't think I should wait for that.
But I think you should. You do owe me something.
I haven't forgotten, Matt. I can thank you for getting out of prison. So you'd rather keep on with this lie? What happened to the man who based his whole life on the truth?
I didn't come here to discuss me.
Oh, but maybe we should. You get out the Clarion. There's one man's attempt to spread truth and honesty without any thoughts of personal success. That's the Matthew Swain I remember. Not the man who says to me that I have no right to tell my own daughter the truth.
I only said you should leave it up to Constance.
And you're willing to take the consequences? You know what can happen if Allison learns the truth from someone who doesn't love her.
I don't think there's much chance of that.
You don't? The other night, Paul Hanley was wondering about the importance of the number 18 in all our lives. Allison will be 18. I went to prison 18 years ago. Mr. Mackenzie died just about that time. Now, if Paul Hanley can put all that together...
That would be a disaster.
Then you should do something about it. Talk to Connie. I can't.
Oh, hello, Michael.
Hello? What's the trouble here?
I don't know. After all these years, this cash register and I still don't understand each other.
Perhaps a little surgery?
Oh, she's all yours, Doctor. Scalpel?
Thank you.
Don't tell me you finally finished all these books. You've had some of them for weeks.
Well, think of your profits. Actually, I just dropped by to tell you I was moving.
Oh?
Elliot Carson wants the beach house. After all, I just rented it from his father. I can stay at the inn until I find a place. Well, I think she'll live.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hello, man.
Well, Michael?
I read your editorial this morning in the paper. I thought it was exceptional.
Well, if you'd read it to the end, you would have seen it was a reprint from Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Well, I guess you can see how careful a reader I am, then. Bye.
Bye. Frankly, I always thought Emerson liked your punch. Why the look?
I just talked to Elliot Carson.
And?
He said that Paul Hanley saw him leave your house the other night.
Why should that make any difference to him?
I don't know, but he asked a lot of questions. And Elliot thinks he might find some answers.
And I won't let Allison go to New York if that's what you're both afraid of.
That won't help. He sees her every day at college. Constance, you're going to have to tell her.
Elliot would like me to tell her, wouldn't he? Well, has he thought of the words I should use to destroy everything I've ever asked her to believe in?
That's just the point. You've taught her to believe in much more than a simple lie. Haven't you made her a girl who can accept the simple and bitter truth?
Mr. Hanley?
Yes?
I'm Robert Wainwright.
Oh. Come in. Come in.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Thank you. Fine bar.
It's real old-fashioned Vermont marble.
I appreciate your seeing me after hours.
You said your business was, confidential?
Yes, as I explained on the telephone, my firm represents Morton Peyton.
What's Mr. Peyton want with me?
He has reason to believe that his son-in-law, Leslie Harrington, had a relationship with your late daughter, Elizabeth Carson.
I won't listen to talk like that.
Now, Mr. Hanley, a relationship could mean many things. A friendship, an acquaintance.
And say what you mean, Mr. Wainwright.
Your daughter knew Leslie Harrington, did she not?
Most people in a small town know one another.
Would you say she and Harrington were friends?
I don't see the reason for these questions. Unless you've been listening to talk. Common talk.
Talk, Mr. Hanley?
My daughter was a decent girl. After she was murdered, our name was dragged through the mud. There were lies, ugly lies about her. She was a decent girl. Good girl.
Good night, Mr. Hanley.
Right?
Mr. Wainwright.
Oh, Mr. Carson.
You've been questioning my former father-in-law.
I dropped in to see him.
Same questions you asked me.
Carson,
Has he been any help to you?
I can't answer that. Good night.
Closed.
Closed to what?
Get out of here.
You're going to talk.
Get out.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
What are you trying to get at, Paul?
The truth.
When I needed the truth from you, you were afraid of it.
I've never been afraid of it.
Your voice is shaking, Paul.
We're strange. The widow Mackenzie and her chaste young daughter.
Alice.
You say you want me to live my life, and the minute I try, you stop me cold.
I think you're threatening me.
Certainly am, Mr. Harrington. Unless you do something to stop this. I promise you, my daughter's reputation won't be the only one dragged through the mud.